tail that wags.
Well, hello everyone. I hope everyone is doing very well. I'll get to today's video in just a moment, but this week's Gnaw on this question is, why do dogs love their toys so much, especially the ones with the squeakers? I'll answer that question at the end of today's video. You know, I love doing this channel because I've learned more about dogs than I thought I ever would know, and I get to share that with people. So if you want to support the channel, go ahead and hit the like button. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. That way you'll be up to date on everything the tail that wags. And now, let's talk breeds. The Bloodhound. The Bloodhound, known for their incredible tracking ability. But this pooch is much different than Duke, the sleepy hound dog we see depicted on the Beverly Hillbillies. This dog has a fascinating history, who helps law enforcement and is a great family dog. Bloodhounds are thought to have origins in ancient Babylon. There is a plaque from Babylon dated between 1000 and 2000 BC, which shows a dog believed to be a type of bloodhound. In addition, in the Nivea Palace, dated 630 to 699, is an illustration of an ancient dog that history refers to as a bloodhound mastiff. When the Romans arrived in Britain in 55 BC, the Romans spoke of finding great scent hounds in Europe. But the known origins of the Bloodhound began in 727 AD France. Francis Hubert, who later became Saint Hubert, patron saint of hunters, developed and bred scent hounds, specifically the Bloodhound. Hubert made it his life work to breed hounds that could follow a cold or old trail. Bloodhounds were bred to track wolves, big cats, boar, and other wounded animals. The monks at Hubert Abbey preserved the line, and many in France still call bloodhounds St. Hubert hounds. William the Conqueror brought the bloodhound with him when he invaded England in 1066, and bloodhounds were offered as gifts to royalty. Even Elizabeth I had a pack of bloodhounds. There was some debate whether the white Talbot hounds were better than the black, and vice versa. Talbot hounds are now extinct, and bloodhounds' colorings are brown, tan, fawn with black markings. Bloodhounds were used to track humans as early as 2070. Robert the Bruce and William Wallace were tracked by bloodhounds called sleuth hounds. Bloodhounds were thought to have come to the U.S. during colonial America, although the exact time is unknown. Though hounds were used to track runaway slaves in the antebellum South, the now extinct Cuban bloodhound was most likely used to track fugitive slaves and not the St. Hubert bloodhound. Bloodhounds have been used to track humans since medieval times, and police departments employ bloodhounds to find lost animals, missing people, and criminals. But why? How does the bloodhound have a much better nose than the average dog? The bloodhound has often been called a nose with a dog attached. You've heard me tell you that dogs have up to 3 million scent receptors. Let me specify. The brain has an olfactory bulb where the brain processes smells. Human olfactory bulbs are about the size of a postage stamp. Olfactory receptors are proteins that bind odor molecules so we can smell. Humans have approximately 5 to 6 million olfactory receptors, which help us smell well. On the other hand, a dog's olfactory bulb is approximately the size of a handkerchief, over 40 times larger than a human's. In addition, dogs have up to 300 million olfactory receptors, which gives dogs an extraordinary sense of smell. Bloodhounds have the highest amount of olfactory receptors of all dogs. Therefore, bloodhounds have the best sense of smell of all dogs. Furthermore, a bloodhound can control each nostril, and his nose is more sensitive than other dogs as their noses are wider and deeper to collect the maximum amount of odor analyzing cells. But bloodhounds use much more than their powerful nose to track a scent. The beloved folds and wrinkles in the face, including the dewlap, the skin under the neck, and the long floppy ears are more than just an endearing trait. The ears kick up the dirt, rustling the scent molecules and sweeping that scent in the nose. Then the folds and wrinkles in the face also stir and trap those molecules, so the bloodhound can smell those scents even better. The body of the bloodhound is also helpful in tracking. The muscles in the bloodhound's neck allows them to keep their heads close to the ground for long periods of time. The bloodhound has thick, heavy bones, a rectangular body, and knuckled paws. All of these traits help with endurance when following a trail. In fact, a bloodhound can follow a 300-hour or 12.5-day-old scent trail, and she can track that scent for 130 miles. There is another aspect that is crucial to understanding the bloodhound's ability to track and smell a human scent. Humans have approximately 40,000 pieces of tiny flakes of skin called skin rafts that fall from our bodies every minute. Think of Pigpen in the Peanuts cartoons. These skin cells contain hormones, enzymes, fungus, bacteria, parasites, and hygiene products that float in the air on a warm, dry climate day and settle to the ground in cool, moist climates. No two skin rafts are the same. Not even identical twins who share the same DNA have the same skin rafts. These rafts linger, and a bloodhound's sensitive nose will pick up the scent of the skin rafts for that 12.5-day period. All of these factors gives a bloodhound a scent picture that is more vivid than any picture a human can remember. This is the reason that it's nearly impossible to shake a bloodhound who is tracking a person. Despite depictions of the lazy, aloof hound dogs on movies and TV, bloodhounds are determined and independent. This determination makes the bloodhound the best tracker. He is single-minded and will follow the trail as long as possible and will not stop if not properly trained to follow his parents' command. Because they are determined and independent, bloodhounds can be difficult to train. They are slow to mature, and during adolescence, they can be boisterous, clumsy, and curious about any scent they find interesting. They can get into and eat strange objects like TV remotes, towels, batteries, etc., so supervision is crucial. Bloodhounds need exercise and to be occupied so they don't get destructive. So being outdoors with plenty of interesting things to do is ideal. Their skin can get a houndy smell and they are subject to drool and slobber. However, bloodhounds are delightful companions who are affectionate and good with children. They're amazing family dogs that are docile but have a loving personality. There are myths and misconceptions about every dog, and bloodhounds are no exception. Myths about bloodhounds. They are called bloodhounds because they track hot-blooded creatures. Bloodhounds are loners. Bloodhounds are lazy. And it's easy to lose a bloodhound who's tracking you. The name bloodhound actually comes from early breeders going to great lengths to record the ancestry of the bloodhound and preserve the purity of the bloodline, also known as blooded hounds for their history. Bloodhounds are quite social animals who should not be left alone for any length of time. In fact, bloodhounds prefer to trail people in packs rather than alone. It's better for your bloodhound pup to have a companion animal, even a cat, but be mindful that some bloodhounds do not get along with dogs of the same sex, like other breeds. Furthermore, a bloodhound needs a family member who is with him or her for the majority of the day. Although bloodhounds enjoy a nice, relaxing day like anyone, remember, bloodhounds are bred to be working dogs. Therefore, they have the energy level of a working dog. Bloodhounds have high energy, especially during adolescence. So if you're active like a runner or hiker, a bloodhound just may be the dog for you. It's actually very difficult to fool a bloodhound's nose. In fact, trained bloodhounds' tracking ability is so reliable, it's admissible in a court of law. Bloodhounds can track a person who's been in a car, and a bloodhound can even track a scent underwater. That's why police use bloodhounds to track missing people and fugitives. So, if a bloodhound is tracking your scent, yeah, you're likely not to get away. So now you know how amazing bloodhounds really are. Bloodhounds are a part of the scent hound family of dogs, and they do a lot to help the people in their community. So if you're active, have a family, and the time to spend with your pup, a bloodhound may just be the dog for you. This week's Gnaw on this question is, why do dogs love their toys so much, especially the ones with squeakers? Well, let's find out. Squeaky toys have been around since the early 20th century, and for good reason. Toys satisfies your dog's mental and physical health. Toys in general fulfills their prey instinct, the need to chew, tug, or for boredom. But they're not thinking about these things. Your dog plays because it's a whole lot of fun. Besides stuffed squeaky toys, there are other toys your dog may enjoy. The type of toy can change during his lifespan. Puppies like rubber-type toys to soothe teething. Adults may enjoy tougher toys like ropes or hard rubber balls. Moreover, a senior dog may prefer a softer toy. Either way, remember, every dog is different, and what works for one dog may not be acceptable to another dog, even those within the same breed. Fetch toys like balls satisfy your dog's ancient need to hunt, find, and retrieve food for their human. Soft toys can help dogs in season or dogs who have lost puppies. The plush body simulates a puppy and can help her cope with her loss or need to have puppies. Some dogs who were taken from their mothers too early are those who needed more time with their mothers, and other dogs who were comforted by being with their littermates may substitute a soft toy for those needs. Stuffed animals can also stand in for the killing instinct in your pup. Remember, your dog is a descendant of the gray wolf. Wolves hunt and kill their prey, so that squeaker can substitute the noise a trapped small animal makes in the wild. So when your dog shakes and rips their stuffed squeaky toy, he is emulating snapping a small animal's neck, tearing his flesh, and disemboweling his prey. It sounds grim, but when your dog bites down on his toy and hears that squeaker, the pleasure center in his brain lights up, which sparks your dog's instinct to attack prey. Your dog may bring her toy to you to get your attention. When you're sitting down and your pup brings you her toy, she's trying to get you to stop what you're doing and spend time with her. When she does this, accommodate her. Playing with your pup releases pent-up energy and is fun for you both. Most important, play strengthens your bond, bringing you closer together. Always remember, dogs should always be supervised when playing with toys. Swallowing a squeaker or other parts of a toy can be dangerous to your dog, which can put your dog's life in danger. So dispose of toys that have been ripped apart or damaged, and store toys away when your pup is finished playing with them.